Come unwrap some holiday magic this season in Denver, where the lights are brighter and the shopping is grander. The shows are more spectacular, the trees taller, the festivities merrier. So come for your holiday traditions or make some new ones with your friends and family in the Mile High City, where the season feels a whole lot more wonderful. Discover great hotels and more things to do at milehighholidays.com.
Unwrap incredible Canon deals at Rockbrook Camera. Check out the new EOS R100 mirrorless camera featuring 4K video and our free Photo Basics class. It's only $499.99. Save $100 this week. Get in closer to your subject with Canon RF lenses. On sale this week for up to $300 off. The best Canon holiday camera deals and the local camera experts are at Rockbrook Camera. 1 block south of 168th and West Center in Omaha, 70th and Pioneers in Lincoln, and online at rockbrookcamera.com.
Hi, this is Lori Johnson with Hancock Whitney Bank, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Visit localleadersthepodcast.com for previous episodes or for information on appearing on the show.
Hey everyone, it's Jim Chapman with Local Leaders, the podcast, and I want to make you aware of a fantastic deal they have going on right now at Fit Body Boot Camp in Denham Springs, Louisiana. If you go to the link getfitdenhamsprings.com/local leaders, you can get $30 off of the regular price of $129 for 30 days of classes. Go to the link, click it, sign up. 30-day classes for only $99 through that link. It's a special deal offered to all of our listeners at Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Local Leaders, a podcast. I have two ladies sitting across from me that may or may not look familiar to you. Miss Brandy Robertson owns State Farm Insurance right here in Denham Springs on Range, and her team administrator, Miss Amanda Cook, is also here joining us. So first, welcome, ladies, to Local Leaders.
Thank you, Jim. Yep, thank you.
I'm excited to have y'all here. Insurance is always a kind of a hot topic. Just it seems like in South Louisiana, you got to have every insurance known to man to have any sort of peace of mind, right?
Yes, true.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and hopefully we'll help some people maybe just kind of understand little intricacies of insurance and the importance of carrying insurance. So first, I want to talk a little bit about you, even though I will tell everybody she hates talking about herself, loves promoting other people and causes and all those things. But I told her, well, Brandy, we have to talk about you a little bit. So we're going to do that today. Before we go into all those great things about insurance, we want to talk a little bit about you. You grew up in New Orleans. And how you like that New Orleans accent I just gave everybody? Yeah, I've tried that one for years. I had to test it out. And you're married to your high school sweetheart, guy you knew a while. Yeah. 3 children.
I can't believe it myself. Three.
So you're rocking and rolling with the married life and the 3 kids and all that sort of stuff. And now you reside in Albany, but you've actually been there 20 years.
Just about, yeah.
So how did you end up going from New Orleans to Albany?
My husband.
Yeah?
Really.
It's always the man, isn't it?
But when you love him, you know.
That's right.
No, he had, his family lived in Albany for generations.
Okay.
And his grandmother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to move our family out to Albany to get out of the New Orleans area.
Very good.
Unwrap incredible Sony deals at Rockbrook Camera. The Sony a6100 mirrorless camera is fun and easy to use for beginning photographers looking to capture special moments to share. Get it this week for $698. Save $150. Capture all the action with popular Sony lenses. Save up to $200. The best Sony holiday camera deals and the local camera experts are at Rockbrook Camera, 1 block south of 168th and West Center in Omaha, 70th and Pioneers in Lincoln, and online at rockbrookcamera.com.
Very good. And what do you think about Albany from a New Orleans gal?
Truthfully, the first year was very difficult.
Yeah.
So when I moved from New Orleans, everything I had, everything around, anything I needed was right there.
Right.
And then when the first night in Albany, and I said to my husband that we needed to go get groceries. I said, so where do we go shopping? He's like, oh, we got to go to Hammond. Wait, what? He's like, well, you can go to the grocery store at the gas station at the corner. Like I said, I'm not buying groceries from a gas station for my household. So just the shock of it not being at the corner, like everything is in New Orleans or Old Jefferson where I grew up, and it was just culture shock.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get over that because my family and friends were still in the New Orleans area. So
gotcha. Yeah, it's just getting used to, more, I guess, country living than maybe you were used to.
Right.
And it's funny how many people come from that scenario, from the city to kind of more of a country atmosphere. And at first they're like, oh, I don't like this, but they all of a sudden get used to it, and then they love it.
Well, look, once my son started going to school at Albany, the people in the community welcomed you in.
Yes.
It made such a huge difference in the transition.
Very good. Very good. So you're in Albany, and at one point you wanted to be, was it a nurse? You were going to be a nurse.
So I was actually going to school to be a cardiovascular surgeon.
Oh, look at you, the big brain on Brandy.
That's what I wanted to do. And then my oldest son was born, and we made the transition out here to Albany. And at that point, you needed to make money. So I'm like, well, let's do nursing. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of morphed into I need to do what I know.
Yeah.
And then insurance came into play. And
yeah, because you had a job in insurance prior to.
I did. I worked in claims at an independent agency, a large independent agency in the greater New Orleans area.
Yeah.
So moving from there and then doing life insurance, and then I applied at State Farm. And that's kind of.
And the rest is history, as they say. Very good. So, as we kind of said at the beginning of the show, insurance is a big deal anywhere, I guess you live in the world, but an especially big deal here in South Louisiana. But not only because of our, we could be prone to like flooding and hurricanes and all those sorts of things, but it seems like it's just a hotbed for all types of insurance requirements that you would need just to have the peace of mind. And what I mean by that is we don't have the lowest rate of accidents here, for example. We're probably one of the worst, I would guess. Obviously, we have hurricanes here. Obviously, we have floods here, unfortunately, all those sorts of things. So insurance agents, as you know, some people may get aggravated with them because you're never dealing with them at a good time, typically. It's usually something tragic in your life. And that's one thing about insurance agents or certain insurance agents that I really like is you have to be kind of gifted at dealing with people when they're at their worst, right? It might be great people, but if you're going through a situation that has been catastrophic in a lot of cases, you're not at your best as far as your attitude's concerned, most people. So you do a great job of that. You have a very calming way about you, and I know I'm talking about you, and you're probably like, go to something else, but you have a great way about you, and I think it's important people know that you have a natural gift for kind of dealing with people that are dealing with issues. But on the subject of flood insurance, we want to mention some of the things that you offer. You offer auto, you offer home, you offer life, you offer renters. You offer small business insurance, very, very important, and something I kind of polled people before I came on the show, things to ask that just people had questions in general for you. one of the things was, do you carry small business insurance? And you do. Some people didn't realize that. Flood insurance, obviously, through FEMA, but you service it, I would imagine, is how that works.
That's correct.
Pet insurance. Now, this one I did not know, and I have been a State Farm policyholder my entire life. Didn't know you carry pet insurance.
Relatively new product, but yes, we do.
Don't be surprised if my wife calls you and wants pet insurance when I get home.
We're getting a lot more calls, I guess, because it's finally getting out there. So we have a few.
Well, it's going to be out there now, Brandy. Everybody's going to be calling you. I want pet insurance.
It's a good product. So
So what is it? It covers like visits, kind of like visits to the veterinarian?
So it's mainly for illness and accident for the pet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not meant for the wellness visits. It's meant for
Covers.
Like if they get sick, if pets get cancer and stuff like that.
It'll cover all that.
Yeah.
C-sections, pregnancies.
I need to get some information on that. Look at you done sold one policy already. Very good. But that was interesting, and that's something I would bet 90% of people don't even know they had an option to get. So short and long-term disability.
Yeah.
Another thing that I didn't realize y'all offered, a lot of people have the misconception you have to go through your employer to get that. Nah, you can call Brandy and they'll get you fixed up, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So also accident plans. What are accident plans?
So it's kind of like the little white duck that you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same premise. So if you go to the emergency room, we have a set fee that we pay you.
Okay.
As you incur the expenses. So
I see. Okay. And so that's a broad array of insurance. You pretty much have insurance for everything.
Yeah.
That's great. I call that one-stop shop, right? You go there. You don't have to go here to get insurance for this, here to go and get insurance for that. That's one of the great things about State Farm that I really enjoy is no matter what type of insurance you need, you can deal with the same person. And that matters. Look, I want to know who my attorney is. I want to know who my insurance agent is. Those sorts of things. So you don't want 9 different people's hands in something. I guess just put them in Brandy's hands. She got you. BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. As an agent, you deal with people every day. They come in, maybe they're underinsured on something, or maybe they just don't have insurance on something. Maybe they don't feel like they need it. We're going to talk about a few of those, especially flood. Flood is obviously something that is in the news and on people's minds because of obviously FEMA 2.0 came out, and sadly a bunch of people's insurance jumped. Some drastically jumped, some not so bad. Mine jumped. It wasn't that bad, but some people in Zone X, which used to be $300 a year or whatever it was. Yeah. Zone X. Now you pay a lot more. And obviously the more catastrophes you have, the more it costs to basically insure that property. So I get some of that. I understand it. I mean, if you live on the coast, you're going to pay a lot of money for insurance because there's a high likelihood you're going to have a problem at some point.
High risk.
Yeah. So I get that 100%. But as far as FEMA 2.0 is concerned, have you personally in your office seen a lot of people that their minds were just blown at these rates?
yeah, absolutely, Jim.
Yeah.
But we see the broad spectrum too. So yes, there are the increases with most of the policyholders.
Right.
But lately we've seen a few where there were dramatic decreases too. So to be in all fairness, that we have to address that there's major increases, but we've seen some pretty substantial decreases as well.
Yeah. And that was some of the interesting things with 2.0 is it almost dialed it down to the exact house, and instead of just a broad general area, because you had people that said, wait a minute, I'm 4 feet in the air higher than this other person, but I'm paying the same amount as them for insurance. And so what it did was, in that case, they tried to make it a more level playing field, fair for everybody. But yeah, I mean, in most cases, especially your Zone X's, they went up a little bit.
They did. And what we also see is that it's basically the 2.0 rating has kind of nullified whether X and AE zones really make a difference. Because
good point.
You know, if they're basing it on where the house is, then it doesn't really matter about your X and AE zones, is what it kind of looks like to the customer.
Right. Yeah, because to my understanding in the formula, they take elevation into play where they used to not necessarily do that. It was just kind of where you lived and those sorts of things. So something that people are struggling with right now, but even worse than that, is you have a lot of homeowners that are now insuranceless, and a lot of them getting these notes. You have 30 days, not of their fault. Basically, their carriers are leaving the state. They're refusing to even insure in the state of Louisiana in a lot of cases. Obviously, the reason for that, we're storm prone. And these companies are losing a lot of money, to put it.
Easy to do.
Another reason to go with like a State Farm, in my opinion. One, you know, their service is great, all those things. But above all that, they are not going anywhere. Their balance sheet is great. And that's what you want out of an insurance company, because if you have like a 2016 flood, the last thing you want to do is have 200,000 people file insurance claims with the same carrier, and they can't financially handle you, because now everybody's in a bind. Exactly. So State Farm, you know, y'all aren't going anywhere. And
not anytime soon, or any future prediction whatsoever. So.
Right. It's a huge difference. And that's a good thing. And we're lucky to have an insurer like State Farm that stays in Louisiana and offers the insurance, because for a lot of these people, you know, their option is an insurer of last resort a lot of times, which is the state, I think, I forget the name of what their
Citizens.
Yeah, Citizens. And that is, like, from my understanding, very expensive, like ridiculous. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thankfully State Farm does exist, and they're around, and they're in this area. They're not going anywhere. And reasonable insurance. I've always had, you know, y'all have some great bundle discounts at State Farm.
That we do.
That is something that I really want to impress on the listeners out there. You can bundle your homeowners, your flood, you know, whatever insurance, your cars, and you get these discounts. We get them with with my family, and you offer good student discounts.
We do.
Yeah,
I love the good student discounts.
I do too. My son's a good student.
My son is too, and when he turned driving age, he was always told it's 3.5 to drive, but State Farm's 3.0. Just he knows it now. Sorry, but it was just important to me, because it was. I mean, he's driving a weapon. Yeah. You know, and I wanted to make sure that if he's responsible with his schoolwork and diligent, that I'd feel more comfortable with him behind the wheel.
Yes.
3.0 is what State Farm requires on the most recent report card.
Yeah, and it's a significant savings. It's not like they're saying, oh, you know, $5 off if you make straight A's. It's
really significant.
Significant. Yeah, my son was 17 or 18 when he started driving. And I think he paid like $200 a month for insurance, which is unheard of. But he hit a 4.6 grade point average, and he did all this. You know, you have to drive on an app, and they have to kind of watch you, and that was fine with me, because we were watching him as well. So between us and State Farm, we were keeping him straight. Right. But yes, a very good option, and something I wanted to mention for people who maybe you have kids that are about to be driving age, and you're looking around at insurances and everything's $500 a month, but maybe your kid makes straight A's or a 3.0 average, and you're like, where can I get a good discount because of that? State Farm's a place to go.
And it's not just a good student discount. So we have steer clear as well for the young drivers.
Yes.
And there's driver's training.
Yes.
Keep a copy of that driver's training certificate because we need it.
Yeah.
To give you the discount, but that's 10%. And
It's huge.
The steer clear, when you have 3 discounts on top of each other for these young drivers, it does make a big difference.
Huge difference. And so keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, with your kids that are getting to driving age, and if they're responsible, good students, you can save a lot of money with State Farm. So call Brandy and let them quote you.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't cost anything. How much is it to get a quote?
It's free.
Free?
What?
You can't beat free. Can't beat free. Even if you're cheap, you can't beat free. So free quotes. They'll sit down with you. They'll kind of go over your, maybe set an appointment and bring your current coverages.
Absolutely.
Probably a good thing to have, because they want to make sure they're quoting you apples to apples and all those sorts of things. So bring your coverages, and let's talk about coverages for a minute. Coverage is a big deal, and for the listeners out there, I'm dealing with a situation now where my son got in an accident. Someone hit and ran him, I guess would be the proper term, ran a red light. And his coverages were sufficient for the accident, but had they been the state minimum, it would not have been sufficient. Because there's some therapy involved in all this stuff that all 3 of my kids were in that vehicle. Were very blessed that none of them were, hurt beyond something that requires some therapy to fix. That being said, had we had just the standard state coverage, we would have been we would have had to come out of pocket for some of that stuff. So my point to that is, number one, always carry uninsured motorist because that person was not insured. So always carry that. And always, I don't want to say always carry more than state minimum. Some people, that's just not possible. But if you can make it work, you want to look at more than the state minimum, because 10-20-10 doesn't get you very far.
And look, so we're there to help them through that process. And
Yes.
that's what we're really good at doing.
Yes.
Is we listen to what you need as a family,
Mm-hmm.
and then we offer
Mm-hmm.
what you need based on what you can pay.
That's right.
So if the state minimum is what you can afford, it's better to have something than nothing.
Yes.
But we show you what the importance is as you can afford to make those changes to increase that liability, to protect more of your assets and things like that.
That's correct, because it's likely. I mean, listeners out there, how many of us have been in an accident, our fault or not, and so probably 90% of us are raising our hand, and in that case, you take an ambulance ride, and you have 10-20-10, you just spend it, pretty much. So use that in perspective, and if you can make it work, in other words, don't be cheap. If you can make it work and you're just being cheap because you don't want to pay a lot of insurance, you may want to rethink that. One thing that State Farm and Brandy does do is she'll go over your coverages with you, like you just stated. And
I want to make sure they understand what they're buying. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to go to Walmart and spend $200 a month on a brown bag and not know what is in the brown bag.
that's right. And as someone that's not in the insurance field, we don't know what we're buying. We really don't. Sandra Richard has been in the business of selling homes for over 20 years. This award-winning realtor brings the perfect blend of professionalism, integrity, and client satisfaction to every buying and selling transaction. A passion for both her clients and her community makes Sandra the perfect choice when buying or selling your home. So if you're in need, call the Cajun Lady, Sandra Richard, at 225-955-5484, or visit her on the web at sandrasellshouses.com. Sandra Richard, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. You put it best just a few minutes ago. You said, I'm going to sit down and look at, based off of what your needs, what I would recommend. From there, it's kind of up to you.
It's like an insurance doctor.
Yeah, no pressure. I mean, as far as that
prescribe
goes.
what we think you need, but it's up to you to fill it.
Yeah, That's right. And so keep that in mind and just kind of look over your coverages, make an appointment with them. They'll go over all of that. You bring your current coverage. If you have another insurer and you're curious as to what your rate will be with Brandy Robertson State Farm, can you make appointments?
Absolutely.
Yeah, bring your declarations page or whatever it is, and
walk in, Jim.
Yeah, just walk in. No appointments
8:30
even.
8:30 to 5:30 Monday through Fridays.
You are the administrator for the office. How is that job? Every day's exciting?
Absolutely.
You know,
She keeps our team rolling.
I can only.
Somebody's got to.
Yes. And they have a great team. Folks, I have to mention this. When Miss Brandy Robinson State Farm is located on the range, it's the former office you took over from Miss Joan Landry. So was here a long time, and so everybody's familiar with where that office is located. Well, they did a ribbon cutting there. I attended this ribbon cutting, as I like to attend ribbon cuttings, and go in there, and let me tell you, one of the best ribbon cuttings I've ever been to. You had all kinds of cool stuff. I love swag, and I love cookies, and
We usually have cookies.
she had lots of that. Yes, it was very welcoming. And so that kind of gave me an idea, and I hope it gives you an idea of when you walk into our office, they're very welcoming, they're fun, they laugh a lot. That's the kind of people I want to do insurance business with. Yeah. You know, I don't want the guy behind the stuffy desk and, you know, well, Mr. Chapman.
On Facebook too.
Yes. Check that out, by the way. Shenanigans on Facebook. So before we sign off today, we'll give everybody that social media information, and I'll link it to the video, this video as well, so people can watch it. Now, I asked you, kind of your why statement, something I like to ask people. And the reason I do is it kind of helps me get behind the ears a little bit of why they do what they do. Very important to know why. And I really liked yours, so I'm going to read it. You said, my why is simple. I want to make a difference in my customers' lives by helping them leave a legacy for their families. If we can do that, we can impact the community by making sure the next generation of those families have a better start in life.
Right.
It's pretty much from the heart.
It is.
Very good. You used a word in there, impact. Impact is one of my 4 kind of like keywords for life. I actually have on the back of a t-shirt my 4 keywords. One of them is impact. I think when you get my age, you start kind of wondering what kind of impact you're leaving. When you're in your 20s, it's all about just rising. I want to be as good as I can be at whatever it is I'm doing. But when you get in your 40s, you start realizing, what kind of impact am I leaving? And honestly, I wasn't leaving a whole lot of one. I was great at what I did, and I was successful in it. And I was a nice guy, but I wasn't really doing a whole lot outside of myself, and it bothered me. And so I love it that you use that word, because I remember sitting there questioning myself, saying, what kind of impact am I making other than in my kids' lives? And that's something we want to discuss real quick. You make an impact in a lot of areas. You're extremely active in the community. I see you at football games. I see you, and look, she's an Albany gal. She lives out there, but she's at Denham High football games. I mean, I think that's great. Yeah. And I go to Walker stuff, and I'm an LP guy.
Right.
So we're all kind of in this together. And of course, we have our little rivalries, and I tease them. But honestly, I want everybody in LP to succeed, do good, especially our high school football teams and stuff. But you do a lot for the community. You're involved in the chamber. You have a event it's an event coming up, but it's a cause, I guess you could say, that's very close to your heart. And keyword is heart. And that is, we kind of discussed this off camera the first time you came by, and I thought, wow, I never thought about how important that is, especially for high school athletes. But heart screens are not done to any sort of, short of taking the stethoscope, I guess, and listening. Heart screens are not done for high school athletes. And obviously, whether you're in high school or not, your heart's getting tested every time you're out there playing football or basketball or whatever it is, baseball, anything that gets that heart rate up and going. And there's so many things that can be caught early if you do a heart screen, even at that age. So kind of tell me your experience with that.
Yeah. So my daughter was born with a heart condition. She is 14 years old and has gone through 29 surgeries, 3 of them open heart.
Wow.
So it's been something that's kind of near and dear to my heart because I see what my daughter went through, and if there's no testing, there's nothing like that to kind of catch these conditions, then we're leaving our children subject to things that we don't want them subject to.
That's right.
Because they're not going to tell us, hey, look, I got this little, can't breathe, I can't, they're invincible.
Sure.
And we as parents in a community need to make sure that, they think they're invincible, but we need to protect them.
Yeah, and in some ways they don't know what's normal, and they might think it's normal to not, kind of struggle for your air.
Right.
It's just normal. They don't know the difference, I guess you could say. And so you had proposed, and I know you had talked to maybe somebody at the school board or something. And
so the Louisiana Pediatric Cardiology Foundation and I are partnering with the Livingston Parish School Board.
Yes.
Reaching out to every principal for the high schools in our area. Albany has reached out and said, look, we want to be part of it. Denham and Live Oak already are. They get screened every 2 years through LPCF.
Yeah.
Basically, what's going to happen is we go to each school. LPCF will come in with their equipment. They'll do EKGs and an ultrasound of their heart, so an echo.
Yeah.
And they're able to catch things that can't be caught with just listening by a stethoscope.
Or just a physical.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the student will have the parents complete a health form.
And like a permission slip, I would imagine.
But it gets a little bit more detailed.
Yeah.
And then it also has a contact name and phone number. So when the doctors actually review these cases as they're presented to them, if they see something, the doctor calls the parent immediately.
Wow.
Schedules a follow-up.
Yep.
If not, then they get a card in the mail saying, hey, everything looks great. But the key is that most of these kids would never have this.
Yes.
I mean, they'd be into adulthood before they'd ever have something like this.
And even if they did it then,
Right.
I mean, how many people pass away from a heart issue just because they never had screening and they didn't know?
Right, exactly.
Some people are asymptomatic to a lot of things. Yes. So I think it's
The South Dakota Stories, Volume 5. She used to dread the winter, the cold, driving in the snow. But that was before she started spending it in the right place. Now, wandering the snow puts a smile on her face, and breathing in the landscapes warms her spirit more than any coat. Because if South Dakota taught her anything, it's that it's never too cold to have too much fun. There's so much South Dakota, so little time.
The holidays start here at Baker's with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. Whether you're making a traditional roasted turkey or spicy turkey tacos, your go-to shrimp cocktail, or your first Cajun risotto, Baker's has all the freshest ingredients to embrace your traditions. Baker's, fresh for everyone.
Choose from a great selection of digital coupons and use them up to 5 times in one transaction. Check our app for details. Baker's, fresh for everyone.
just an unbelievable program that you've really pushed along, obviously close to your heart. And so, thank you for that, first of all. But second of all, you have a event coming up related?
Not exactly related to the LPCF, but we do have an event that I am trying to make an annual event. Mm-hmm. where we call it the Good Neighbor Community.
Yes.
It's going to be
cute
held
name.
Where it came from. But it's going to be held in Albany at St. Margaret's Catholic Church.
Yeah,
St. Margaret's
beautiful church out there.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
In my hometown, but
Yep.
we kind of partnered with some of the businesses out there to just kind of give back to the community.
Yeah.
Like a life lessons kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we'll be
Very
out there
good.
with like safety and insurance information, especially hurricanes, since we're right before August.
Yes.
Right, and so we'll have
Yes.
some roofers out there talking about what that looks like. If you do have roof damage during a hurricane, we have a poisonous creatures class, like with one of the exterminating companies.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Hancock is going to be out there doing.
Yeah, go Hancock Whitney, my favorite bank.
They're going to be out there showing people how to write checks and balance checkbook. Like there's teenagers and adults that do not know how to write a check.
Yeah,
what that looks
amazing.
Like. And how to check your
bizarre
oil
these days. Yeah,
your air pressure. So my husband will be
Tire
out there.
pressure and air pressure. And
right.
Those kinds of things.
I know some things about tire and air pressure. Yeah. Y'all will hear that story another day. We're not going to tell you that one today. We're not giving you that much goodness in one day. We don't want to send you away with running with your hair on fire.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah, that's a whole episode. But a great event. And when is this again?
So it's July 30th. It's not this Saturday, but next at St. Margaret's from 10 to 2. So
there
there'll
you
be plenty
go.
of things for the kids to do as well.
Yeah.
Food and drinks and
so why do you
hydration information from Hornet Nutrition, like all kinds of good
love it? I'm gonna come out there.
We have
And
a DJ
I might even do a little live and
the biggest thing is we have free windshield repair.
Oh, you can't. I don't know if you can go repair mine. I got so many cracks in that thing. They'd be like, Jim, we can't help you. You need a windshield. Quit being cheap. So, which incidentally, comprehensive insurance coverage, very important. Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word. You have that event and it brings together this community. And why, for you, is this such an important thing, would you say?
I just think we as business owners need to remember that we're there because of the community.
Yes.
We are the bigger part of the community because the customers are there. Every citizen in Livingston Parish, they give back to their parish by supporting these small businesses. And if we can give back, even if it's just a small way, for a few hours on a Saturday in the heat. But no, it's something we love to do. I mean, I love making an impact.
You do. You really do. And someone that really practices what they preach, I guess you could say. And I see you everywhere, and you're doing great work. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your team. Team's an important thing. We got some of your team right here, a key piece of that team, and Miss Amanda Cook. How important is that to the success of your business?
So without the team, we're nothing.
We're nothing.
Yeah.
But they work together. They build each other up. They're there to bounce ideas off of each other. And if one can't figure out what's the best way to help a customer when they walk in, then they reach out and they'll ask Amanda, they'll ask me. And it's a family.
Yeah.
And that's what
we're here for each other. You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and it seems like y'all have fun. It's you're doing a serious thing and you're very knowledgeable in it, but you don't have to be like stoic about it. Right. You can have am I correct? And y'all have a good time over there?
You're right. We do.
I may come put in an application over there. Y'all look like y'all having so much fun.
Sure. We'll have to push Brandy to the back. But we'll work on that. Y'all
do. Y'all look like y'all have a good time. And that, look, it always starts with the leader, and you are the leader, and people feed off of that. And you've done a good job with your delegation. You have a great team over there. I do want to mention, just a few weeks ago, I get a knock on my door here at the office, and she has, what's the gentleman's name with the great hair?
Justin. He's going to love it.
Justin. It's great hair. When you're bald and you're a guy, you notice other guys' great hair, and you're like, why did I not get that type of hair? It's just so full, but super awesome guy to begin with. Just always got a smile on his face. He's funny, but they stopped by and they brought me, it might have been chocolates, or what was it?
It was just a goodie bag.
Goodie bag, yeah. But it was like, hi, neighbor, or something. Yeah, it was cute. It was like and these are the extra things y'all do. You don't have to do. You just kind of do them because it's kind of who y'all are. And I think that's a great thing. It's fun, yeah.
We have a lot of fun with the National Something Day. So
yeah.
it's like National Chocolate Day. You want to stop by my office?
We did National Mac and Cheese Day.
Oh
We
my!
had
I like me some mac and
different
cheese.
Mac and cheeses. It
We
was
were all
great.
sleeping after lunch.
Yes, it was rough, but it was great.
Y'all are speaking my language of mac and cheese. That sounds good. Yeah, y'all do so many things. As far as for the community, and of course, we're very thankful of that. So, just another reason to go by and talk to y'all and bring your coverages you currently have and see if they can help you if you're struggling with your current insurance company. That's what I would recommend. Now, we talked about coverages and all of that, and you mentioned that flood season is upon us, right? We're about to be kind of in the heart of hurricane season. We've been very fortunate this year. It's been quiet so far. Knock on wood, yes. But we all know here in South Louisiana how quick that can change. You can go from nothing and it hit the middle of August and you got 9 storms come right up the Gulf. Happens a lot. My question here is, a lot of people, I would imagine, struggle with the hurricane deductible. Insurance agents, I would imagine this is pretty common among all of them. They go over this stuff when you sign your policy. But people don't look at their insurance a lot of times until they need it.
Right.
Sadly. And so when something like a hurricane hits, they look down, they're like, wait a minute, my deductible is a lot higher than I thought it would be. Well, yeah, you have a hurricane deductible. It's a higher risk. And obviously, I would imagine a higher cost typically to repair. So just a reminder out there about hurricane deductibles really to people. Go look at your policy. Be cognizant of your hurricane deductible. Hopefully, you'll never need it. But if you need to tap into that deductible, one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if someone does have a hurricane situation, they don't have to pay that money out of their pocket. It comes off of whatever their recoverable money is, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
So nothing up front other than, you just taking care of the first whatever percentage it is.
Yeah, and that was something that someone had asked me to ask you when you came on the show was, do you have to pay that up front or how does that work? No. If you're going through enough, yeah, they're not going to say, well, you need $4,500 before we'll ever give you anything. They just take that off of whatever your estimated damage is, I guess, or whatever. So wanted to make that clear, and please, folks, go, now would be a good time to just go review your policy on your flood insurance. It'd be even better time to go sit down with Brandy if you have another insurer and let her review it with you.
And Jim, it doesn't have to be other insurers as well. So
yeah.
Like our State Farm customers, they've had hurricane deductibles for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I really recommend coming to sit with your agent. If it's not me, the agent, but if it's me, absolutely call me, talk to me. Let's go over that deductible while we can, because there's some changes that we can make.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, life changes.
Mm-hmm.
People's situations, I'm glad you brought that up. People's situations in life change. Maybe they had, coming up through life, they had life insurance with State Farm. And they had all these kids at home and all this stuff. And now their kids are 30 and they're moving out and they're making their own lives. And so that maybe they don't need the amount of life insurance they had when they first started a family. Or maybe they need to increase it because they're having a family. Another important point. If you're looking into life insurance and all that sort of thing, if you're a couple and you find out you're having a baby, that's a good time probably to go in and review that, right?
Absolutely. It's a good time to review, and it's always a good time to review your beneficiaries because, like you said, life happens. You may have mom as a beneficiary, and you've been married, and mom's still the beneficiary. So
ooh, that would cause a fight.
Right. So it's always a good time, to review something as simple as a beneficiary.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So life changes of any sort are a good time to sit down with your insurance carrier. And I would always recommend that people once a year, you kind of look at what your charges are for everything. Maybe your budget changed, maybe you can afford that better coverage insurance than you could the year before, or vice versa. Maybe you lost a job and you need to cut that. You never want to do that, but life happens, and so you definitely want to cover all those sorts of things.
You want to leave the legacy where it's supposed to be.
Yes, exactly.
In your family's pockets.
That's right, 100%. So the point of all that is they are willing to sit down with you at Brandy Robertson State Farm, pretty much cover anything insurance related that you want to cover.
Absolutely.
The staff there, they have a ton of experience in insurance. Brandy alone, you have close to 20 years total insurance experience. You've seen a lot.
17 with State Farm, but yes.
Yeah. You've seen a lot, huh?
Way too much. But look, so it's just a testimony of what we do, though. So I started with State Farm in March of 2005, so before Katrina. So I was with Joan Landry's office at that time, and the Katrina hits in August with Rita right behind it. So hi, welcome to State Farm.
Yeah.
And then we had a few hurricanes after that, and then the flood of 2016, which was a complete catastrophe for our area.
Sure was.
And just having to figure that out, right? Nobody's ever really went through a flood where it destroyed all of Denham Springs. And
navigating that,
right?
yeah. I mean, the location was flooded,
yes,
was it
flooded.
not?
So we quickly got a plan together to get a little satellite office put behind the main office while it was being repaired. So it was 7 of us in a little tin can, is what I like to say. And Joan was the biggest agent in the area, so we had the majority of the flood claims, and then you have auto claims and State Farm's in.
Yeah, right, people are still getting wrecks too.
State Farm's in town with our claims teams, and when you don't have a vehicle to get where you got to go, they're going to get to their nearest location, and that is what we're here for. That's why you have the agents that you do when you have State Farm.
That's a great point you brought up. And another great point was, in that flood there was a lot of, obviously all our structures, mine included, flooded, but also my car flooded. Right. So 2 claims. And then the dealerships were flooded. I don't see how y'all navigated it. And it was smooth with State Farm. I will say that 100%. I can still remember going up to the mall. They were staged at the Cortina Mall. And basically cutting checks for cars. If you were insured with them, I had no issues whatsoever. And I'll tell you, through that entire experience, the only people I can say that I enjoyed dealing with was State Farm Insurance. They were very empathetic to what I was going through. They gave me no problems, and I can't say that about everybody that I dealt with, in that situation. But State Farm was there for me.
We built on that, and then I opened my office on August 1st of last year, 2021, and August 29th, Hurricane Ida decided to make her beautiful, glorious appearance. So when you're opening a business, like a brand new business, not to mention an insurance office, to be thrown a major catastrophe like that, it was difficult.
Yeah, that'll knock you through a leap.
Right, but we went through all the other catastrophes. I had the experience behind me.
100%.
We didn't skip a beat. So we were there for our customers. We have a whole office generator, so we were there the very next day, working claims, answering questions.
Probably had cookies sitting out front, too.
We did not at that time.
No cookies.
But I'll make a mental note for you for later.
We were lucky to eat lunch those days.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you brought up a good point there, and that is, I can't imagine much that you haven't been through and that you haven't navigated through. I mean, that 2016 flood
was rough.
You earned your stripes in the insurance business. If you can navigate through that and still be standing, there's probably nothing you're going to come across past that will be any worse.
And
COVID
in between it.
Well, then they hit
Jim.
COVID with us, so that was a whole nother.
Right.
Yeah, but look, it's not just us that grew; it's the customer.
Yes,
they grew too.
100%.
Because they learned their coverages. They understood that, hey, man, I need comp if you're going to cover my car. That it's great to have rental car coverage, but if there's no rental cars because they're all flooded, it doesn't make a difference. But like on a regular claim,
glad you brought that up.
And then with the hurricanes. So I think South Louisiana has kind of been accustomed to understanding their coverages on a yearly basis.
Yes, that's a good point.
Because it's been consistent with, hurricanes in our area. So
it really has. And look, rental car insurance, I'm glad you brought that up. A good point that to have something that is, and another one, this is interesting. So you have a sewer endorsement that you can get. Almost nobody gets it, right?
Not in my office, but go ahead.
A whole different ballgame.
I'm talking overall, it's one of the more rare endorsements.
And so that's part of the education process, though, right?
Yes.
So when you sit and you're talking about auto insurance, like we don't just delve into the auto
coverage. Yeah.
Right. We have those conversations because the backup of sewer is one endorsement. There's many more.
Yep.
And they keep coming up with new ones. So
we add automatically because it's so little and it's crazy not to have it.
Yeah, but we talk about it. You know it's on there. We don't just put anything on there. You have a gold tooth sitting in a room somewhere, right? We do go over those coverages.
I'll cut that part out.
Please don't.
Okay. Yeah, we don't even tell you about it. We just put that on there. Oh, you've already got flood insurance. What? We'll cut that part out. All right, last thing. Believe it or not, we've been going almost an hour.
That's fine.
49 minutes. So, fun facts. My favorite part of the show because it kind of lets me
like when you sent them, I'm going, what the heck?
Yeah, they're so off the beaten path, I guess you could say. But it makes you think, and they're funny, and they kind of give another side to whoever you're dealing with. So, so I asked you, what would you name a yacht if you had one?
So it would be the neighborhood yacht club.
Yes.
Mainly because, like, if you knew my family, like I have
a lot.
How many? Four sisters and a brother.
Yeah.
And then, my dad was one of 6. My mom was one of 6. And honestly, I lose count after there. So if someone knows you have a yacht and you're going out, it's like family comes from everywhere.
Yeah.
But just with my immediate family, my brothers, my sisters, and my nieces and nephews, like it feels like a neighborhood.
I love it. Great name. I asked you what was your dream job when you were 12 years old? You said a doctor. You were on that path, and it's funny how life does this, right?
Does that, but like I truly feel that what we do makes us insurance doctors. So I kind of got to.
That's
that.
right.
Kind of kept that role.
That's right. I agree with you. Healer. I forget what I asked you on that one, but your answer was here.
Magic power.
My magic power. First, I would heal her and every child that's ever inflicted first, and then I'd move on to you.
Yeah. There's no hope for me, Brandy. Not even you can heal me. And it's interesting that you wanted to be a doctor when you were 12, and healer is a superpower. So you're a healer of insurance.
Yeah.
How about that? A place that you would love to travel, and my number one place as well, that you would love to travel. You could travel anywhere in the world. You said Ireland.
I do.
Love Ireland.
So it's a family thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my apparently great grandparents came directly from Ireland. They
Yep.
moved to the Irish Channel
Yep.
in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where my mom and dad met. Both of them are channel rats. Sorry. But that's what we call them because that's what they call themselves.
She'll call herself that.
Yeah. So you'll hear my yacht come out if I get really excited.
Yeah.
That New Orleans yacht starts appearing.
Yes.
So I stay kind of, with my voice so it doesn't come out. But
Love it. So, want to tell people, do you want to shout out your social media, Brandy Robertson State Farm, or you want me to just link? I'm going to link all of it to the description, but you have a Facebook.
We do have a Facebook. It is Brandy Robertson State Farm Insurance Agency.
Okay. Website?
We do have a website. It's
betterwithbrandy.net.
Betterwithbrandy.net.
Love that. Better with
My
Brandy.
daughter came up with that.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that on your questionnaire.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And you also, so I'm going to link that. I'm going to link the website. Do you have an Instagram or?
No.
Okay. Probably don't need
really
one.
push it.
Yeah. There'd be nothing but picture taken in there. The guy with the great hair would be doing
The
this
guy
all
with the
day
great
long.
hair follows you around when it's like we've met like after an event or anything, he'll just come behind us with one of those confetti cannons. So everybody's screaming.
Oh, Lord.
So those are the pictures that we have a lot.
Those are the videos
That's
we have
great.
too, so they're great.
Do you do TikToks? Yep.
No, we can't.
So State Farm doesn't like us to.
No kidding.
Yeah, no.
I know.
It's not there yet.
We'll do
Not
them on
there
our
yet,
own,
yeah.
but we can't promote State
I know
Farm
that
with
Jake
it,
has
but
one. Jake has one.
Jake does have one.
There you go. There you go. Well, we'll
But that's
put
good.
your Facebook and your website on there. If you heard something today, folks, and you're interested in it, the pet insurance, the car insurance, whatever, give Brandy Robertson State Farm a call. They're located at 1402 South Range Avenue right here in Denham Springs, Louisiana. I promise you, they will love it if you call. They'll love it if you come by, and they're really going to be very informative about reviewing your coverages with you. Maybe you're fine with everything you have. Maybe you're not. They'll look at that and give you their opinion and their expert advice on where you need to be based off of your situation. So thank you for coming by. Was it painless?
It was painless.
Was it fun?
Yes, it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I tried
had a
to
good
stay
time.
reserved, so I'm sorry. There were many times
That's
I'm
all
like,
right.
"Da-da-da-da," and I just
No, you did great. You did great. I had a
especially
great
when it goes
time.
into the coverages. I was like,
Yeah, I could have said a lot.
Where is he going with this?
We can
Yeah,
talk
I'm
for
going to
days.
let him talk. I want to like start talking. So it's not. It's. I love to talk, but I didn't want to talk over you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let him finish that. I'm not gonna touch it.
You're like,
That's exactly what
I want to
happened.
say something.
That's it. But
Yeah.
Well, there can always be a part two.
Look, if there's a part two, it's
my
because there's
goodness.
something even bigger. I am exhausted from this one. This event is killing me. Like
I
I've
hear
never
you.
had to put the event together myself. I wasn't the whole
Event person. Yeah.
And the logistics of it is just like
They're not easy.
But we're almost there.
I've assisted with some, just assisted. And when I talk assistance, I mean like I lifted stuff. And that part wasn't much fun. I can only imagine being in charge of the whole event.
We
Being
do
the organizer and the
so
originator.
we
And
do the Capital Transit area.
Yeah.
So they have these events. Like we do a lot at the schools. There's one coming up at
Yeah.
LSU and so and then SAD, and they do all the events. And I
Yeah,
just
students
show up.
We
against
just show up.
destructive
Destructive
decisions.
So we do a lot with them. After, like you just show up, you
Yeah.
know, and you set up a tent. And you have a game, you know.
we don't
whatever
even
it
have to
is.
take down. We literally leave. Like, see ya.
Oh, that's
This
cool.
one,
It's great.
it's how many tents do I need? I need this, and it's just so.
It's a lot of
I
work.
kind of like
It's been a lot.
I kind of made friends with the transit region specialist, and she is going to be my logistics person. So she came and sat with me that day, and she's like, "We got to focus on this. Let me make a phone call." So she kind of helped just settle me down.
Yes.
And that's what I needed. And then we have an action board. We have, what to pack, because this is going to be like a
We have an
major thing.
action board and we have a packing board.
Very
Action.
good.
Completely full.
Wow.
Yeah, it's way too full.
Way too far. I hear you.
But I'm really looking forward. I hope people come out. Like,
Yes.
even if it's a first annual, you don't have a great attendance.
Let's shout that out again. That's at Albany Community.
Albany, it's Good Neighbor Community Day.
Yeah.
At St. Margaret Queen of Scotland Church.
Yeah.
In Albany, July 30th from 10 to 2.
And is there a Facebook page or something people
Yeah,
can
so
go
I did
and?
an event
Okay.
on Facebook and the chamber as well.
Very good. So what we'll do here at Local Leaders of Podcast, we'll link that as well to the description of this video or audio. If you're listening to it, we'll still link it. Yes. And so click down, go through the notes there, and you'll see it. Check it out. It looks like a fun day. You get to see these awesome ladies doing great things for the community. I might be there at some point. Doing selfies and all that kind of stuff, or TikToks or whatever I'm doing at that particular time. Who knows? I'll be like, I can do a TikTok.
You
Yeah,
have to run through the obstacles.
I'm horrible at
first.
TikToks.
Yeah, we have an
can never
inflatable
figure them
obstacle
out.
course. So,
Do they really?
You'll have to run through
Oh,
the
that sounds like
obstacle
fun.
course, then take a selfie.
I love it. Love it. Sounds like a plan to me. Thank you again for coming by. To all my listeners and viewers out there, thank you for watching Local Leaders, a podcast, and subscribing and sharing with your friends and sharing on Facebook. I want to thank my sponsors. Couldn't do any of this without all of you folks, and love you, love you, love you. Until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business, just like Brandy Robertson State Farm. in Denham Springs. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.